Speaker.
You must call, so, yeah. Meka Whaitiri.
Tēnā koe, Mr Speaker. Tēnā koutou katoa, ngā mema o te whare nei, ngā mihi o te tauhou. Mr Speaker, I join with others on this side in wishing you warm greetings to all members of the House and of this complex for the new year of 2014, and hope you've all had a good rest. Mr Speaker, I join on this side of the House in support of David Cunliffe, the Leader of Opposition, in his motion that this House express no confidence in this national-led government because New Zealand has become more and more divided, because those in the middle are struggling and because the poor are going backwards. Mr Speaker, I stand as the proud member for Ikoro Rāwhiti, an electorate that has raised and nurtured many fine people, some famous, some infamous, but all in their time have etched their mark into the unique canvas that makes up Ikoro Rāwhiti. As an electorate of fertile lands, prime coastline and majestic rivers, where an honest day's work for an honest day's pay is the norm. We're having fruit trees and veggie gardens, and the ability to go to the river or to the beach to gather food is a normal way of life. Mr Speaker, for many, the prospect of an honest job for honest wages, for gathering food from our beaches and waterways, is no longer the norm. In fact, it's under serious threat. Mr Speaker, I may be a new member to this House, but I can rest assure you I come with some 25 years of serving our people, creating employment opportunities and creating platforms to grow capacity at the local, regional and national level, for supporting initiatives that work and calling up those that clearly don't. Mr Speaker, this national-led government is failing the people of Ikoro Rāwhiti. I have sat on this side of this House for some 6 months, and I hopefully not for too much longer come the general election. And I've heard what this national-led government have done for the people of New Zealand and for the people of Ikoro Rāwhiti. Well, Mr Speaker, I'm here to put the story right. Mr Speaker, I'm here to give you the real lowdown on my electorate. Mr Speaker, I'm here to do what the people of Ikoro Rāwhiti have asked me to do, and that is to be their voice in this House. Mr Speaker, this national-led government is arrogant. This national-led government is out of touch. This national-led government is only in it for its mates. One of my first questions in this House, Mr Speaker, was to the Minister of Economic Development, Mr Stephen Joyce, when I asked what was he doing about the high rates of unemployment in Gisborne and Hawke's Bay. Did I hear more apprenticeships? Did I hear a greater focus on transition from schools to jobs to further training? Did I hear enterprise development support, or did I hear unlocking potential opportunities in partnership with iwi? No, I didn't. But the reason why I don't, because those are Labour policies. What I heard, Mr Speaker, from Mr Joyce in terms of his addressing unemployment in Hawke's Bay and Gisborne were three things: cycleways, mining and drilling, and wait for it, a dam. That's right, a dam. I can report to this House, as much as I stand in front of you, there have been no job creations, no jobs created in Hawke's Bay, Gisborne and those areas. But again, that's a legacy of this national-led government. But don't listen to me, let's look at the stats. Let's look at the unemployment stats. The household labour force stats for December 13 says that since National has been in office, the number of 20 to 24-year-olds unemployed has increased by 11,300, a total of 27,600 20 to 24-year-olds without jobs in the Hawke's Bay, Gisborne region. That is not a record to be proud of. That is not a record to be laughed at or to be jeered at or to be flicked aside. Youth, not in employment or training or education. Since National took office, the number of 15 to 24-year-old NEETs has increased by 5,000 to a total of 72,000. That is an indictment on this country when we have 15 and 24-year-olds, 72,000 of them with no hope, with no platforms, no opportunities to seek what they have every right as citizens of this country, be it employment, education, or training. 27,000 forgotten, 72,000 forgotten. Long-term unemployment is 44,600, an increase of 29,800 since National came into government in December 2008. Specifically in my region, the unemployment figures in Hawke's Bay, Gisborne, when Labour were last in government, there were 6,900 that were unemployed. At December 13, that number has grown to 8,100. Again, on these stats, you cannot argue that many more of our people in my region are suffering and the jobs are simply not there. Mr. Speaker, one of the burning topics in my region has been the management of our fresh water, and it is that area that I turn the House's attention to and talk about the Tukituki catchment proposal, which has been undergoing a board of inquiry for some 28 days. Mr. Speaker, I've been fortunate before I joined the House of Representatives to be the Chief Executive of Ngāti Kahungunu Iwi Incorporated, who took a very strong stance on water quality issues, water management, not only in the catchment of Ngāti Kahungunu, but throughout the country. So before coming to this House, I was well aware of what was happening in our particular area. So coming here to this place and hearing the national policy statement on fresh water from the Minister of Environment, Amy Adams, I've been really quite interested in some of the responses to what clearly is a very complex issue. Water quality, water use, water management across the nation. And look, I want to acknowledge first and foremost the work of all the stakeholders in the Law Forum who have committed to undertaking this critical issue. I know who set it up, but I also am aware that there were some very significant recommendations that Law put to the Minister, and it is very upsetting to see the Minister cherry-pick some of those recommendations and putting forward to accelerate the building of the Ruataniwha Dam. And so I stand here, having sat in a majority of those hearings, where iwi are calling clearly of a lack of consultation through this process. Clearly, the fact that a lot of our safeguards in terms of the work of Fish and Game, which incidentally a lot of the members of that organisation are with the National Party, who themselves say that this has been a shoddy process. Also, we have the Environmental Defence Society that also says that due process hasn't been accorded to something as complex as water storage. And so this is why I stand here to say to all those that we could do better. We absolutely do better, need better processes, and unfortunately under this national-led government we haven't got it. So, Mr. Speaker, in closing, I want to say that with interest to the Prime Minister's speech, there was only one line that actually got me listening, and that actually was the last line, where he said, quote, "We are going to say to New Zealanders that they can trust what we say, and they can trust us to deliver what we do." Mr. Speaker, I can rest assure you when I go around all the communities in Ikaro Rāwhiti, trust is not a word they align with the national-led government and their coalition partners. So I look forward to what the year presents, Mr Speaker, and tēnā tātou katoa.
I call the Honourable Peter Sam Loitwinga.
Thank you, Mr Speaker.